Hey, welcome back to Vintage on Vintage. Today we are going to do our first SGC submission of 2025. So, as you know, I like to do a preview first and then the reveal. I'm pretty excited about this submission. There's a couple of my childhood cards going in, some football, some basketball, some baseball, some rookie cards. So should be fun, and it's a good way to start off the year as I continue to try to get some of my ungraded cards slabbed. So how about we flip this camera and take a look at what we're turning in. Okay, so the first two cards, I was a little inspired by our friend Billy Ballgame. I just watched one of his videos not long ago, and he turned in some late 80s and early 90 cards, which I think are fantastic. It's a fantastic time to collect also. And I have more than a few that I want to start to grade, and I've just been holding off on them. So I think I'm going to start with two for this submission. The first one is, the beautiful Michael Jordan Upper Deck short print, the 1991 Upper Deck. I think this is a really cool card of Mr. Jordan, and this one's really well centered. Well centered, pretty sharp corners. It's hard to tell what grade you're going to get. I'm hoping for a 9 on these. A 9 to a 9.5 would be great on any of these cards, but I also have to believe they could come in as an 8. But either way, this is definitely a card I've wanted to have slabbed for a while. So that's the first card. The second card is the 1987 Donruss Greg Maddux, rated rookie card. And this is another card that I think is just really, really well centered, both left to right, top to bottom. Corners are sharp. Once again, I'm hoping for a 9, maybe a 9.5 on this. It could come back an 8, so I wouldn't be surprised. I think any of these cards are going to, potentially be in the 8, 8.5, 9 range. But that's what I'm hoping to get on these two cards, these two first cards. Third card is one I just picked up not too long ago. It's one of my favorite Rod Carew cards. It's the 1968 Rod Carew Gold Cup. This is just a really cool card, and it's as you can see, it's centered really well. What I've normally found is that the corners sometimes hold you back on these cards. But I think this is a pretty nice version. I'm thinking maybe 5 for Mr. Carew. 5.5 for this card would be great. 1969 Willie Mays. This is a card, I picked this one up not too long ago. It's not in the greatest condition. It's centered really well. It does have a small little crease right there in the upper corner and another one here in the back. So I don't expect this to grade all that well. I do think it's going to show really well in the SGC slab, but I don't expect it to grade all that well. I'm going to guess a 3, maybe a 3.5 on this card. But, it's a Willie Mays, and it's one of my favorite sets, the 69 set. So we're going to send that one in. Another one of my favorite sets, and is the 1971. I picked this one up at a card show. I believe I was with Jason, Everyday Card Collector, when I picked this one up. It's a beautiful 71 Ernie Banks. These are hard to find, and I love the card. If you watch my channel, I get 6s and 6.5s. I have yet to get a 7 on one of these cards. And I don't think that this is going to be the one that does it. I'm thinking a 6 here is what we're going to get from Mr. Banks. But it's going to look great. It's a great card. And it's one that I've wanted to have in the collection and slabbed for a while. Here's the first of 2 childhood cards that I'm turning in. And that is this beautiful Franco Harris rookie card. And, I've had this card since 1973, right? So it's a 73 football, Topps football. Had it since that, as in my possession the whole time. It does have a small crease here, or wrinkle here. in the bottom corner, and the corners are a little soft. So once again, you know, it's my childhood card. So I'd love to see a 4. I think it's going to be between a 3 and a 4 for Mr. Harris, but it's just a cool picture of Franco. So I want to get this one slabbed. Next one is also a childhood card, and it is the 1975 mini of Henry Aaron. So, you know, he's my favorite player. And, you know, this one's actually in really good shapes, considering I've had it all those years. It's got a, you know, it's got pretty good centering, left to right. Back looks not too bad. You know, it's got a small print defect up here between the E and the W. But outside of that, I think it's a really nice card. I'm thinking a 5 for this card for Mr. Aaron. And then I'm going to turn in, I picked up, as you know, I picked up some 1975 cards. I picked up a set. I kept a few. I swapped a few out. Here's one that I actually kept. And it's the Henry Aaron, but it's the larger version. So this is the mini that I'm turning in, the childhood mini. And then I'm also turning in the larger version of this Aaron. And this Aaron, you know, it's in good shape. I mean, the centering is strong on this card. It's got it's colorful, got a lot of nice color. Back centering's pretty strong. You know, it's hard to tell. I'd love to see a 6, maybe a 6.5 on this card. But I'm excited to get this one in. It's one of the few I need for my Henry Aaron run. Sticking with the 75 theme is this, I'm going to turn in this beautiful Jim Rice rookie card. And I apologize, there's my daughter came to visit us for Christmas, and her lab came, and there's dog hair all over the place. We're still trying to clean up this place. But this is a beautiful card. And it's really well centered. I'm excited to have this one. This is another one of the cards that I kept from that set that I didn't decide to sell. I think it is also really well centered, front and back. Once again, I think we're looking at a 6 to a 7 on this card, which would be great for a Jim Rice rookie card. And then the last of the 75s, this is one that I swapped out, and I sent a version I had before in to be sold, and I kept this version. And this is the Frank Robinson card. This is a really cool card, right? He was designated hitter. He was also the manager at this time, so it's kind of a cool card, and it's really, really well centered, as you can see. Might have a little bit of nicking on this side, but not a lot. Beautifully centered card. I think, like the other cards, this is going to be between a 6 to a 7, but it's going to look really good in the slab. So that's the end of the 75s that I'm sending in. I have 2 more cards that I'm sending in on this 12-card submission. I've shared this card with you guys before. This I just picked up recently is the second-year Jim Brown. I have this one already graded in a 1 that I am looking to sell. I believe this one will grade better. It's really well centered. Corners look pretty strong. The only concern I have is the back might have been scratched a little. I'm hoping this isn't paper loss, because that will hold it back. I would love to see a 2 to a 3 on this card. And I'm really excited because it's a second-year Jim Brown. So. And then the last card is this beautiful card I shared with you guys on one of my last videos, and it's the 1972 Jerry West Icy Bear. And, you know, this card is it's just really cool. It's, you know, West is one of my favorite players. These Icy Bear cards, I love them. I'd like to collect. I'd like to grab the Chamberlain, the Maravich, and the Jabbar at some point. They're really thin, though. They're thin cards, so you have to handle them with care. This one is a beautiful card. I would love to see a 7 on this. 7 range, 7.5 maybe, if we're lucky, for Mr. West. So anyway, those are the cards I'm going to turn in. The next time we talk, it'll be because I've got the cards back. So hold tight, and we'll see how they graded. Okay, so the cards are back. SGC turned these things around really quickly. I'll tell you, probably less than 2 weeks. So I'm excited. The first two cards were the ones I told you that I got a little bit of inspiration from Billy Ballgame. The first one up is this 1991 Upper Deck Michael Jordan short print. I was hoping I could get a 9 on this, but, they do grade 80s and 90s pretty hard. So, realistically, it could also come back an 8, 8.5. But I'm hoping for a 9. Let's see what they gave me. And they gave him an 8.5, which, that's a nice grade. The card is beautiful. But I'll tell you, I guess the difference between an 8.5 and a 9, it's got to be pretty tough because this is a really beautiful card. But starting out with an 8.5 for Mr. Jordan, and I'm okay with that. Love to have it in the collection. Next up was the 1987 Donruss Greg Maddux rookie card, which just like the Jordan, I was hoping for a 9. Realistically, it could also be in the 8.5, 8 to 8.5 range, but let's see what they gave him. Okay, they gave him an 8.5. So once again, both of them came in at 8.5s. I would tell you that they grade these things tough because it's hard to find a lot of flaws with this card. But, I'm happy to have both of them added to the collection. This is my first Maddux card that I've had slabbed. So I'm glad to have him in the collection finally. I've been wanting to do that for a while. Next up is the 1968 Rod Carew. These cards, this is his first solo card. It's the Gold Cup. I love it. On these cards, I tend to think that, it's hard, especially on the naked eye, to see the cornering. Like you can see this corner's got a little bit of an issue. I was hoping for a 5 for Mr. Carew. So let's see what they gave Rod. Okay, look at that. That's great. A 6. That's a really nice grade for that card. Very happy with that. One of my favorite Carew cards. Awesome. Next up is the first of my 2 childhood cards that I turned in. This is that Franco Harris, 1973. It's a nice card. It does have a small little wrinkle or crease down here in the corner. I thought that was going to hold back the grading. Could be in the 2 to 3 range. I'm hoping for a 3, maybe 3.5 if I'm lucky. But let's see what they gave Mr. Harris. Oh, man, they gave him a 5. That's with that crease right there. I'm not sure that the card's deserving of that grade, but what a beautiful card that is. Ah, sweet. This is anytime you can turn in a childhood card and get a grade, in the 5 to 6 range, one that you've had for all those years, I think it's kind of cool. So, wow, really stoked about that. Awesome. Next up is that 1969 Willie Mays. That's the one I told you that had like a wrinkle on the front and the back. You can actually see the one right there on the back if I bring it in closer maybe. I was thinking this card was between a 2 and a 3 for Mr. Mays. But I think it's going to look fantastic in the slab. So let's see what they gave Mr. Mays. A 4. Okay. I'm really happy with that. Look at that card. That's a really well-centered card. I'm loving it. I love the 69 set. And, anytime you can get a Willie Mays and a 4, it's a good day. Awesome. Okay, 1971 Ernie Banks. Great card. As you know, every time I turn in a 71, they come back 6.5's the highest I've gotten. I've gotten like 2 or 3 of them. Mostly 6s. So my initial guess on this is I think this is going to come back in the 6 range. So let's see what they gave Mr. Banks. Oh, yeah, look at that. I finally cracked a 7. Oh, that's a first. You gotta love that. Anytime you can get a 7 in a 1971 card, that is a good day. And this, I picked this card up really inexpensively at a show. Wow. Yes. Finally got that 7. Woohoo! Gotta love that. All right, this is the second of my childhood cards. This is the 1975 Henry Aaron Mini. And, you know, it's in pretty good shape. I was hoping for a 5, maybe an outside shot at a 6 on this card. Once again, I've owned it, you know, since 1975. So, all right, let's see what they gave the Mini of Mr. Aaron. Oh, yes. Look at that. 6.5. I guess, you know, maybe I'm just being a little too conservative because I've been burned before, but that is just a beautiful, beautiful card. And it's a childhood card. Oh, yes. I'm loving that. Next up is the first of, I think, 3 or 4, the first of 3 1975 cards. You know, I bought that set. I sent some of them in to be sold, and I kept a few. And this is the same card as the Mini, but this is the full-size Henry Aaron. I was hoping, I think, for a 6 on this. Let's see what they gave Mr. Aaron. And they gave him the 6. Wow, that's cool. It's funny that they gave the Mini, which I didn't think was in as good a shape, the higher of the 2 grades, but that's a great, great grade. Look at that. And I've got the regular and the Mini of my favorite ball player in a 6 and a 6.5. So can't complain about that. Next up, the 1975 Jim Rice rookie card. You know, I just bought, in my last video, I shared that I bought his second year card, the 76. So I'm excited to turn this one. And this is another one of the, I kept 4 cards and then I swapped out, I think, 6 or 7 cards. This is one of the cards I kept. I was thinking this was going to be between a 6 and a 7. So let's see what they gave Mr. Rice. And they agree with me. They put him right flat in the middle, a 6.5. So look at that. That's a nice, nice card. These 75s look so good. They're such colorful cards, and with the backdrop of the black SGC Tux, they look amazing, amazing. Okay. All right, last of the 75s is this beautiful Frank Robinson, which, you know, this card, this is one that I swapped out. So I had this card. I sent the one I had in to sell because it was not as well centered. This is a card that sometimes is tough to find the centering on. This is, I believe it's his last card. And I thought it was, once again, in the 6 to 7 range. So let's see what they gave Mr. Robinson. And they gave him that 6. And I think the 6 is only because there's just a little bit of chipping on this siding. But look at the centering on this card. What a cool card. Cool card. I'm happy. I'm really happy so far with this return. I think, you know, they're all in the ranges I needed them to be. All right, the last 2 are probably the biggest cards in the submission. First one up is the second year Jim Brown, which, you know, I love this card. It was scratched there, so I'm hoping they're not calling that paper loss. I'd love to see this come in a 2 or higher for Mr. Brown. Let's see what they gave him. Oh man, a 5.5. Sweet. That is so cool. You know, I think I've told everybody I have another version of this that I'm going to sell, and I think it's graded a 1. But look at this. This is a second year Jim Brown in a 5.5. Oh man. I'm just going to let us stare at this card for a minute or two because I'm so excited. Awesome. Last card is my 1972 Jerry West Icy Bear. And, you know, quick story, when I got this submission back, they normally, every time I've done oversized cards, they always put them all in the box together. Well, it wasn't in the box, and I thought they forgot it, so I sent them an email. And then I went back today, and I was waiting for them to respond, and I decided I'd look through that box one more time, and they'd actually wrapped it up separately. So just a little word of advice. If you don't find all your cards, dig through that box pretty carefully. Normally, they stick them all together. But anyway, this is the 72 Icy Bear that I wanted for a while in the collection. I thought this card was in really good shape. I was hoping for a 7, maybe a 7.5 for Mr. West. So let's see what they gave him. Oh, sweet. They gave this card an 8. That is so, so sweet. Wow. Wow. This has been a great submission. I'm really happy with the way the cards, the grades that I got. But more importantly, I'm just happy on how beautiful these cards look. You know, I mean, the grades are great. None of them are leaving my PC anyway, so wow. Well, there you have it. I think that was a really fun submission. You know, SGC's now having a $12 special for cards from like the 70s and the 80s, which I turned this in and like a week and a half later, they kicked off their special because about 7 of these cards I could have saved $3 a pop. But I have quite a few cards that I am contemplating sending in because from that time frame. So I do expect to have some more SGC submissions coming back here in the near future. But until then, I just, you know, I'd love to hear your guys' comments on how you thought this submission went. B, as always, you know, anytime you take the time to watch my one of my videos, I'm really appreciative. So until we talk again, I want everybody to stay safe, keep collecting. Thanks. Take care.